What is up, Squadron? How y'all doing today? Good. I'm doing well as well. Thank you for asking. Today's episode 3 for track 3 of the project ViAbeZ, ViAbeZ. I realized that I never talked to y'all about why this project's called ViAbeZ and why it's spelt this way. I personally feel like it's kind of self-explanatory. Born in Richmond, Virginia, moved out to Arizona. Even the cover art, as I'm looking at it, left side is Richmond, the city, right side is Tempe, Arizona. So ViAbeZ. The original project was just going to be called ViAbeZ, ViAbeZ. But I want to add the A plus the way I say it in the track. The vibes. It's vibes. There's some flavor text in there. Not to get off track and derailed from this fucking banger of a record, Walk On. To give you guys a backstory of this, there's always a track that makes me go into album mode. And that's this one. This was going to be a part of one of the singles rollout that I was doing, when Condoracus came out, when God's Work came out, when Be My Person came out, when F It Up came out, when Hutch and Starsky came out, when I'm Hot came out. This was going to be a part of those rollouts. But as I was writing it, I was like, dang, this shit kind of goes. And it felt a little bit special to me, and the energy that I had in the booth when I was spitting it was really, really dope. I fucked with the energy. This is probably the least adjusted track on the project, and what I mean is, if you watched episode 2 and only episode 2, that had a whole different fucking thing. And looking at the track list as it goes on, Sheesh was a little bit different. Summer Friend was a lot different. Path was completely different. I want to get ahead of myself, but Walk On is probably one of the most least adjusted tracks. I think the only thing that adjusted from it was the hook. And even to this day, and I don't want, if someone's really feeling the hook, cool, dope. I wrote this hook thinking how is this hook going to hit when I perform it live? I imagine my boy Dom on stage with me being my hype man and shit, because he hypes my shit up crazy. I love Dom. Shout out to Dom. He goes hard on the shit, and I imagine a little call and response. This was mainly a call and response. I didn't know it, but I subconsciously decided that the bars and lyrics that I spit on this one, I didn't want them to be too complex, because the sample and the beat did all of that heavy lifting. The beat, the intro, that shit just went in. I just needed to make sure that I matched its energy, and I wanted to complement the beat rather than the beat compliment me, if that makes sense. I wanted to put my ego on the back seat. Sorry, I need to make sure, because when I get talky and I get really introspective, I lose consonants. And I was watching the past 2 episodes. I'm like, man, I don't want to do that shit. I want people to clearly hear what I'm saying. But I wanted to put my ego in the back seat, and didn't want to overcomplicate the record. I still wanted to add the visuals and the colorful wordplay that I do, because I really feel like that's where I excel in, is the colorful wordplay and you visualizing what I'm saying. And that's where this song came in. And it's funny, because I actually, by myself, I have a love-hate relationship with this record, because there were times where it was going to be on the album, there's times when it wasn't going to be in the album. There was times when it was going to be the second song. There was times where it wasn't going to be on the album. There was times where it was going to be after the illest. There was times where it wasn't going to be on the album. There was times where it was going to be after Mowgli's Palace, and then there were times where it wasn't going to be on the album. And each time I listened to it, depending on the mood that I was in, I'm like, dude, this song fucking bangs, or this song wasn't going to be on the album. I'm really happy it made the cut because it does have probably some of my favorite bars in here. My favorite one being the last four. I wanted to give a very, very special shout out to my boy Big Philly, Phil, Big Water, Large Diet, the person that I personally funnel my tracks through. If I'm ever 50-50 on a record, I love hearing his input, and because he can impact me in such a way where it really gets me thinking. Like, every artist needs that person that will not hesitate to let them know when their shit is trash, when their shit's hitting, where it's hitting but it's not for me, and when it's almost there and their advice can get you to that next level. I highly recommend, if you're an artist, you find that friend, whoever it is, and really utilize them in the most respectful way. Really pick their brain, because they know what they're talking about. And thankfully, I was blessed with the almighty Phil, and I give him a special shout out. And the shout out itself was Big Water. Is this what you meant by hitting syllables? Because a lot of my previous records, he would always tell me, like, man, you're not hitting these syllables correctly, or you're adding too many syllables, or you're overcomplicating shit. And that last four, I really feel like I was in my pocket, continue my force, and that force is centrifugal. Hit up Jorge Mariscal for another visual. Freeze in my corner looking like Bobby Digital. Big Water, is this what you meant by hitting syllables? Like, I thought that shit was clean. And shout out to Freeze. Obviously, shout out to Freeze. And another special shout out to my man Jorge, who JMV Visuals, who did majority of my music videos. That dude has a brain on him. He sees things through angles that people can't see. That dude films in the fourth dimension. I swear to God, like, he just sees shit. And I was like, hit up Jorge Mariscal for another visual, because that's his thing, JMV. And this song was really like my call to arms. Like, this is like I'm talking my shit. I'm in my pocket. I'm on a fucking wave. And there's really not a lot to say about the creative aspects of this, because it was already there. I mean, I hear the beat. It's so East Coast. It's so Just Blaze, who I grew up loving and listening to. The sample itself is so Jay-Z and Kanye, that like soulful aggression. And when the beat hits, like, the horns are loud, and honestly, I could have just went on the track, been like, blah 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 blah, and that shit probably still would have been fire, because the beat did most of the heavy lifting of this record. So let's jump into it. Let's not make these episodes any longer than they need to be, right? Because I know I can get very, very ranty. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. That vape hit, that vape hit, I swear to God, that vape hit is like that Lil Wayne lighter flick for me. Like, you hear me hit a vape right before record, I'm about to get it in. This little call and response with the beat, with the sample. That's just shout out to Joel Santana. Not that he needs a shout out from me at all. Not that any of these people need a shout out to me from me at all. But Joel Santana, I think around this time I was re-listening to What's the Game Been Missing, and I loved how long that project was. That project was supposed to be longer, but his label's like, nah, cut that shit in half. That's how you know when an artist loves doing music. But a lot of his songs, he's calling responding to the sample. I mean, from Oh Yes to Whistle to the mic check 1 2 1 2. He's calling responding to that sample. So that's like what I was trying to do there. To do what? Send them where? Hey, yo, freeze! Let's go!
Make boss moves, crazy do command and conquer. You play games, Hall of Fame, but my name is your sponsor.
So that bar right there, I don't know if a lot of people got it, understood it. So I make boss moves, crazy do command and conquer. You play games, Hall of Fame, but my name is your sponsor. So it's like, yeah, sure, man. You may be running the game on its hardest level. That's a shout out to NBA 2K. You know, you may play the game on the hardest level, Hall of Fame, but I'm the sponsor. Like, you running the game, I'm the one running you. You feel me? Like, that's that. I'm the one running you.
Checks put food on your daughter's plate, but one false move, my pig's food, your father's face.
Shout out to Hannibal Lecter right there. Anybody seen the movie Hannibal? They remember that scene where a homie in the wheelchair gets thrown in the pig's den, and that hog takes a big old chomp on that pig on that dude's face. That's a shout out to that. Sign your checks, put food on your daughter's plate. Like, what I'm doing, I'm running your shit. I'm the reason why your kids are eating. But if you fuck up, then my pig's food is your father's face. It's like that little connecting thing. I don't know if I just want to make sure I break it down so that people don't like I don't want to be breaking down a bar and people like, I get it. Yeah, no, I know that. I'm just like really happy about like the shit that I'm connecting with. So like, my bad if I'm like redundantly explaining shit to y'all. I just get really pumped up about like my music. I don't know. I'm my number one fan. If I'm not a fan of my own music, how can I expect other people to be a fan of it? And I love my shit, dude. I just bang my shit all the fucking time.
Wait, ain't moved nothing out of shape. Can't throw my team out the moon, out of space, out the way. That mindset is out of date.
I love that shit because I will say early in my path to being a rapper, I always like took the back seat. Like I always like, you know, like, oh man, you got it, or here it is, there it is, you know. Especially on a lot of the features that I used to do. If I ever called somebody a feature, I always bigged up the feature and like wanted to make sure that they shined. That was like a reminder to me, like, out the way, that mindset is out of date, you know, like fuck it, like me out the way, nah, not doing it anymore.
Out of space, out the way, that mindset is out of date. Solo won the fucking race straight out the gate. Drive by in that drop top with my dude's sick. The Ruger clicks, one move and that Ruger hits. Body you and the team you with. My conscience is screaming at me to make sure they lose consciousness. Approach.
I love that line. My conscience is screaming at me to make sure they lose consciousness. The reason for that, honestly, that dives into like paranoia. Like I never want to be in a situation where I feel like I have to watch my own back. So that's another reminder of like, yo, if you get into it, make sure they fucking lose consciousness, because you don't want to be 5 years later get caught lacking from somebody that you don't fucking remember. So it's like, yo, like we drive by, we chopping it up, but we're ready. Like that Ruger clicks, and one false move that we hitting, you know, on that type shit. Like ready for peace, prepared for war type shit, and we want to make sure that it's done. It's done from the moment it starts, because if it's not done there, motherfuckers hold grudges, and we're not about grudges, you know.
Man, come talk funny bloody lip, fuck around, heavy talking like me with a little list.
That was I love it when rappers like say some dope shit, like some jokey shit, like thuggy, if that makes sense. So it's like I'm recognizing, because again, you know, y'all know me if you've been through my journey. I was very self-conscious about like that little, very minute, barely even noticeable lisp that I have. So that was like like jokey, like, you know, talk funny, bloody lip, fuck around, heavy talking like me with the little list.
Can I run your head
Package you like tuna fish.
Motto is don't talk shit to no one you won't get girly with.
Like all of that thesis is just like, just don't talk shit to nobody you're not ready to bang with. Like that's just what it is. Like I hate when people like rile you up, and then when you finally respond, they're like, no, nah, fuck you. Like I'm sorry. Like this I was just joking. I'm sorry. Like, nah, that shit's just like deaded. And like that's the thesis of this record. It's just like that East Coast, like bang, we hear, like just like you listen to this shit while walking down, you feel like you're the man in the street type shit. Like that, like it's called walk on. Like I'm walking on by, you know, like I'm here, bro. I'm here. Just I'm not in a hurry. I'm not scurrying around. I'm walking. I'm vibing.
Why? Never fall. Can kill above y'all. Gon' quit.
Hell nah.
Cops are ops. So low is to the top, and I ain't never train spots.
Nope.
Never fall. Can kill above y'all. Gon' quit. Hell nah. Cops are ops.
Right there. I don't know if anyone heard it, but that's how you know I'm ready. So maybe you heard it. I'll play it back. Listen, just listen intently.
Quit. Hell nah. Cops are ops.
Right there. Did you hear it? That's the sound of me folding my paper back on my notepad. I'm like reading the hook, you know, feeling it, folding that paper back, and it's in one take. It just goes right through it.
Above y'all, gon' quit. Hell nah.
That right there?
So low is to the top, and I ain't never trained spot.
Oh, my grown man shit. My own brand hits. Those stones that you stand to understand my shit.
I'm in my zone, little bitch.
So that's my shit right there. Cause I am so fucking tired of hard, just stands, bro. Like hardcore fans that can't see past like their own, like, their own fandom. And it boils back to like humans having this insane innate desire to consistently be correct and right. Like, this person is the best rapper. I said it, therefore I'm correct, and no one else is going to convince me otherwise. And anytime there's an argument, I'm gonna bring this person out because I dare not wish to come to the realization that I may be wasting my time and championing this artist. And that's where a lot of people like super fandom comes from. Like you even take it back to like, even to the argument of like LeBron James versus Michael Jordan, like both can be great players, both can be goated in their own right. But the LeBron fans that are like, no, this person's great because of this, Y, and Z, and he's alive during my generation, and I'm correct because this is how it is. To the Jordan fans who are like, no, this person's great because I was alive and he beat all these players that I know. So if he's not the best player during my era, that means that I'm weak myself. And it's just like that like subconscious mentality of like, the thing that I like is the best because I don't want to waste my time not liking the best. So that's why I'm like, I throw stones to stands who don't understand my shit and who don't choose to understand my shit because fuck them. Like they're so head up their ass with their own rotation of artists and like, I only listen to this, I only listen to that. So that was like, that bar had a lot of heat to it. That's why I came in there like I'm on my grown man shit. My own brand hits. Like my shit hits. My own brand hits. I throw stones to stands who don't understand my shit. I'm in my zone, little bitch. Rush your thumb, little bitch. Stopping what I'm starting. I don't condone that shit. Like I was getting fucking eager, and like eager is the perfect word. I was getting eager. I wanted to lay this fucking verse down so heavy and so legitly, bro.
Brand hits, those stones that you stand to understand my shit. I'm in my
zone, little bitch.
Little bitch. Stopping what I'm starting, I don't condone that shit. Mic check 1, 2, don't speak unless spoken to. Just
that's how you know I was listening to Joel Santana, because there's a song called Mic Check. Mic check 1, 2, what is this? Santana's back to business. Let's go. Hey. Yeah, mic check 1, 2. Don't speak unless spoken to. Dismantle dude, sang sung, leave no soul on you. Is it a solo record? Is it a solo record? If I don't make a Mortal Kombat reference, I'll wait. Oh wait, is it? Is it a solo record if I don't make a Mortal Kombat reference?
I don't condone that shit. Mic check 1, 2. Don't speak unless spoken to. Dismantle dude. Sang song. Leave no soul in you. Might be rude, but you looking like you might be food.
I might be rude. I might be rude, but you looking like you might be food. I'm sorry. Like, sure, I might be rude, but I'm hungry, and you looking like that meal that I'm about to eat. So let me just tell you what you not gonna do, bro. I remember when I first heard my mom. My shout out to Mama Cruz. She had so many rants to motherfuckers. My mom could bang. And the dopest thing about my mom is growing up, she was kind of like in my track where like we didn't really have a voice until we hit like 18, 19. And when we found out that not only could we bang, but we were actually pretty nice, she would always let motherfuckers know that the moment they took her kindness for weakness, she'd be like, hey, let me tell you what you not gonna do. I don't know where she got that from, but I know I got that from her. And then leading into it, I wanted to get melodic because I'm working on this thing where every 4 to 8 bars, I'm trying like a new flow to make sure that the listener stays engaged. That's a little trick that I learned. I think from Phil, Big Water, where, I mean, we could even, the most egregious example was that XXL freestyle. I forgot who it was, like 2019. It was some shorty. She was nice, but she was spitting for like, what, 2 minutes and doing the same cadence for 2 minutes. And those 2 minutes felt like 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like when 2 minutes feels like 2 minutes. Like my song Path is 5 minutes and 16 seconds. It does not feel like a 5-minute record. That girl's freestyle felt like a 2-minute fucking freestyle. Maybe it was even 3 minutes on some shit. So that's why I want to get to that pitch change and get more melodically right there, which is why if you notice my aggression kind of like backtracks on there, and I'm like writing wave like end me, offend me, friend me, condemn me, prevent me from getting anything that God sends me. Anyone against me, I'ma say it clearly. All I do all day is represent me.
Leave no soul in you. Might be rude, but you looking like you might be food. Hold up, come here.
Let me tell you what you not gonna do.
End me, offend me, friend me, condemn me, prevent me from getting anything that God sends me. Anyone against me, I'ma say it clearly. All I do all day is represent me. Continue.
Pause the track right there. That was another Audacity post mixing. Took that whole clip, duplicated it, pitched it down. I wanted to add more umph to it, and I realized I didn't add umph after Freeze mastered it. And I didn't want to be like, hey Freeze, real quick, Solomon here a month later, can you take this 4-bar section, or not even that, a 1-bar section, duplicate it and do that, and then remaster and rebounce the whole thing? Thanks, man. You're a peach. No, I'm not going to do that. So I pitched it down, and I actually liked it because I didn't have the stems to the record. So it's the voice and beat pitched down, and that guitar distortion that is added there as that flare. I really like that. I felt like it popped out and it hit people in the mouth right there when they heard it. That little guitar distortion.
It's me, I'ma say it clearly. All I do all day is represent me. Continue my
Okay, so there is a guitar distortion later on when I do it again. Not at that part. Thankfully, the beat dropped right there, so there was no guitar distortion. But when I do it again, never fall, can kill above y'all. Go and quit that part. There is that guitar distortion. So I'm just getting ahead of myself. I know my shit. What the fuck?
I'm forcing my forces centrifugal. Hit up Jorge Mariscal for another visual. Freeze in my corner looking like Bobby Digital. Big Water.
Is this what she meant by hitting syllables? So, for y'all that don't know who Bobby Digital is, that is the Wu-Tang Clan producer, super producer, and overall brand runner, collaborator, creative mind. He is the Wu-Tang Mr. RZA. So me, Sam Freeze in my corner looking like Bobby Digital, because I don't think people understand. I don't think people understand how much Freeze has helped me grow, how much creative direction he has to the music that I make, and overall what a big part OG Freeze is to my art and my brand. So I really want to make sure that he gets shouted out whenever I can. Big shout out to Freeze.
Why? Never fall. Can kill above y'all. Gon' quit. Hell no.
Right there. That's where that distortion was.
Solo to the top and I never change spots.
You hear that little?
Never fall. Can kill above y'all. Gon' quit. Hell no. Solo to the top and I never.
Okay. There's another very important reason why I love Walk On right here. And I'm about to show it to you, and it's going to lead into episode 4. I'm not going to do episode 4 now because I don't have time. But this is another reason why I think Walk On is so important. I'm going to bring it back right here. And just let it play out.
Can kill above y'all. Gon' quit. Hell nah. Solo to the top and I never change spots.
To the fucking banger, bro. To the fucking... Y'all, if you don't know by now, if I ever put out an album, do not shuffle it. If I ever put out music and it's an album, a 6-piece, whatever, do not shuffle it. Because I promise you, each track is super fucking important, and the placement is like I think about where each track goes and how it goes and how the shit flows. I'm listening to my album 2 months just track listing. Like, I promise you, I put so much care into how these tracks are placed. And that's why I think this track not only made the cut, but also like needed to be where it was. So I added the echo effect, I added the distortion, and then it just bleeds into to the illest. So yeah, that's this episode. I wanted to give another special shout out. I talked about Phil, and he is absolutely a big part of music on the technical aspect and breakdown. I give a special shout out to Freeze, who's a big part of my creative process during the music. But I wanted to give a very special shout out, an ultimate shout out to my main man, Vicente, Beast Mode. I don't think I've ever had someone who I've met through like another friend group. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I met him directly. It was, I met him through my brother, my roommate, my homie, Jay. And this dude's energy, this dude's positivity, this dude's competitive nature, this dude's mind, this dude's heart and soul is so amazing. And all of the like positive shit and the things that he holds me specifically accountable for, he doesn't have to do, but he does it. And having someone, another person like that in your corner, believing in you, that doesn't have to, is super important. And it's like these people that I named in these episodes, the people that I named in the previous episodes, and the people that I will name in the future episodes, like, they are super important to me. And I just want to let y'all know that I love each and every one of y'all, and y'all keep me going. I don't think you realize how much y'all keep me going, but y'all hold it in. Y'all motherfuckers keep me going so heavy. And I just want to say, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the comments and love that you guys give me every day. And yeah, y'all keep me going. So shout out to y'all, pounding back to y'all. Fuck, dude, I didn't. Goddamn. Yeah. Be good, be safe above all else. Be you. Keep a lookout for episode 4 coming out, obviously after this episode, but I don't know when. Until then, let's keep the likes going. Let's keep the shares going. I really want my YouTube page to get up to at least 100 likes so I could change this fucking URL. I swear to God, that's all I want to do. I get to 100 subscribers and I won't even release another YouTube. No, I probably still will. But yeah, that's the vibe, squad. Peace, love, and happiness to everybody. Peace.